We we do it live.
We live?
Are we live? Let me see. It says yeah, we're live. It says stop recording, so I assume it's recording. But we gotta talk. We do have to talk because man,
The best Star Wars movie ever made, right?
Empire, dude, stop playing. Holy cannoli! We're supposed to save our reaction for the end, but
Oh, my
motherfucker,
bad. It's
this
10
one
minutes.
is
I'm just
good.
it's a joke. That's a
It's
joke.
too late. No, it's too late. It's out there. The fucking cat
No.
is out of the bag. This shit is fucking good.
I think this one was the worst Star Wars ever made, I
I'll bet you
think.
do.
God.
Holy
That's such a
shit.
trope. The main bad guy,
Right.
bruh.
It's just Vader. We all knew he'd come back.
They couldn't get a different villain. They had to
Right.
bring back the same bad
Oh
guy.
my god, I
Really?
know.
At least the prequels had a different Sith Lord,
Right, come on, dude. Some people, I mean, they just don't know good movie making.
right? Gotta sell more toys. I mean, shit.
Oh man. But yeah, no, this shit, man, we gotta fucking dive in. I don't know where to start because there's a lot of shit, but there's not a lot of shit. It's one of those weird ones where there's not much to say because it was fucking awesome, but there
I
is
did
things
forget a
to
lot
say.
of the small lines of dialogue that I wanted to talk about, but I
Don't you worry, I
forgot.
have all that. Literally,
Oh,
my
nice.
entire
Okay.
notes are 3PO and R2 talking.
Oh, I meant like on the Han side because I think Han was like one of the
Oh,
weaker
he's got
characters
some
to
good
me
stuff.
growing up. Yeah,
Speaking of, let's
yeah.
start off with Han because in the very beginning I thought he was stupid and I hated him. I'm lying. It wasn't that egregious, but I did really not like his
My
character.
friend's out there. I gotta save him.
No, that was cool. I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Um, it was the very beginning with him and Leia.
Oh yeah.
Him and Leia in the beginning, I was
They're
like,
laying that shit on
God.
thick.
I was like, this shit. It didn't even sound like Han. I was like, this just doesn't. This doesn't sound right. Like their acting was weird. I don't know if it was weird chemistry on the actor or the lines. I don't know what it was, but I will give him a sort of clapback credit because when they got back to like talking after Luke,
Hmm.
holy man, their chemistry was fucking phenomenal. I loved it. Um, so he brought me back, but definitely the first 5 minutes of the movie or 10, I don't know, but it was like a little weird for me with him and her, but whew, it picked up quick. Also, did you know 3PO still has a silver shin in this movie, the right shin?
Yeah,
I don't know why that matters to me, but I've noticed that in every movie.
it's
I'm like,
funny.
what is his? Is he just has like a fucking shitty junk bot? How long has he been with them? He's part of the Resistance. Doesn't he get a new leg?
He probably got a fucked up. He probably fucked up his leg or something, and they had to just give him a shitty silver
Because
one.
I thought it was a joke, right? Or like I thought it was like fucked up. I missed it in the first movie, but nope.
Yeah.
Here he is again. That same silver
Yep.
right shin. So now I confirmed it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, him and R2 are still the best characters, and I'm gonna say this ahead of time. The movies number 4 and 5
Oh,
would not be as
hold
good
on. We
without
have to
them two.
pause. There's a there's a donut that wants to be on stream. Hello,
Well,
donut. Say
bring it
hello.
in. What's up, little cat?
She doesn't care. She's just gonna purr.
That's okay.
Okay.
It still counts.
Okay.
But nah. Yeah, because fucking like R2, dude, R2. I can't get enough of R2 and fucking 3PO
That's
because
master.
literally like Luke is gone in the fucking like a sand or fucking ice storm, and then R2's like out there looking for Luke, and he goes beep beep boop boop boop, and fucking 3PO turns around. Don't say things like that. Of course we'll see him again. And then I just picture like
Maybe he died out there.
right. I just picture R2 freaking out. What if he's dead? Like, oh my god. Those two are fucking great. But that honestly though, the first little bit of Luke being gone, it's one of these weird things in movies where like they did it right, but I don't know why or how. I'm gonna base it on the fact that we have a previous movie with them, but when like Luke's gone, right? But no, when Han's
Yeah.
gone, specifically when Han goes to look for him, and fucking Chewie, he just like he leaves and they close the blast doors, and Chewie just puts his head on the pole, and then just
Yeah.
fucking like sighs, and I couldn't take it. Like holy shit, just the emotion, like the fact that these guys care about each other was evident, and it didn't feel forced or rushed or anything, but it kind of was rushed in 10-minute sequence. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. They did it well, but I think that's because they had a previous movie, because they weren't friends in the previous movie, and they had this time to grow together, which is also part of that long form storytelling. that makes it better, I think, objectively.
Yeah.
But either way, that shit was. I also liked them too before that when he's working on the thing, like Chewie just made himself at because we don't know how long this has been, right, since the previous
Yeah.
movie. And Chewie just made himself at home. He has the Millennium Falcon torn apart. He's fixing some other shit. The landing gear's torn off completely. Fucking Han rushes out after a fight with Leia. We're leaving. What the fuck are you doing? Put that shit together. We're leaving. Chewie was just fucking chilling. Oh my god.
I love Chewie.
That shit was pretty good. They also paid off because in the very beginning, I was like, Luke goes, "Oh, there's a meteor. I'm gonna go check it out." I was like, "Oh god, this is stupid." What do you mean a fucking? And that was half the reason I was like in the first few minutes I was like, "Oh, here we go." But like not a few minutes later, they're talking to one guy about we need to do something or another or scan for something. I don't know what it was, and he was like, "With the amount of meteor falls that come on this planet, we can't afford to something something." And I was like, "Oh shit." So they established that there is a whole shit ton of meteors, and that Luke may have been interested in one because why the fuck not? He's a curious boy. So I that kind of gave some credit to that line because normally movies won't do that.
Yeah.
They'll just give you like, "Oh hey, I'm gonna go check this out." Why? Like, it just feels weird. Like, and why did that happen? This one thing that randomly happened at this right time perfectly for you to go check it out. It just feels contrived. So that they kind of like brought themselves full circle with that, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Fuck, what else, dude? I have a list, dude. I have a laundry list. I'm there, dude. Fucking 3PO. Oh yeah, when in the same scene, I forgot this. The fucking after like Chewie and the like they realize both of them are gone overnight.
Mhm.
Fucking when 3PO's leaving and he sees how sad everyone is. Even it sounds like he's sad. He was like, actually, because R2 was like given the data on how fucked up it is that they're never gonna survive, and
Mhm.
he was like, well, actually, and he paused. He was like, R2's been known to make mistakes, and then he walked a little
Yeah.
bit. He was like, from time to time, and I was like, God damn, 3PO. Like, I don't think he cared personally, but he was trying to
He
cheer him
noticed
up.
that she cared. Yeah.
Right,
The
and
Leia
that's what
cared.
meant a lot to me because he's a robot, I guess, and he's not programmed, I guess, to feel bad for people because over the course of all the movies, he's never really been like sensitive.
Yeah.
But he just seen because he's a personal comms droid, like he knows he's an interpersonal droid, so he just tried to cheer her up, and I was like, fuck, man, that just added to the weight. Like the weight of that scene was so good because of just the little details, you know. They didn't tell
Yeah.
me you should feel bad. I just got to feel bad because of what people were doing, you know.
Yeah.
That's how you do sadness and shit. Like to hype this movie up completely and probably overdo it. That's how you do it. You don't.
Not overdo it. That's worth it. That's perfect.
It's true though. You don't tell people to be sad, but you show people being sad about something, and if you choose to care or don't, that's your choice as the viewer. But the
Yeah.
situation is the situation. Don't tell me
They
to
do
be
play
sad.
sad music to get you down there, but yeah.
It wasn't
So,
too bad. I remember the music being over the top.
Yeah, no, it's not over the top, but I'm saying that.
But Naruto,
Yeah, you can-
listen.
Movies do it. It's in movies, it's in shows. That's the musical score is there for.
Oh
so.
my god. If I wasn't already crying and you just start playing the fucking flutes, I'm done. Fucking sorrow and sadness is I'm done. I could be watching a fucking children's cartoon. Sorrow and sadness, come on, it's over.
Naruto is a children's cartoon.
Well, yeah, checks out. But yeah, as far as the fucking first bit goes, man, it really was a pretty good opener, and it did feel movie-esque in terms of, hey, things are moving, we're going. But
Yeah.
the build-up was it meant a lot. I think you got enough time and enough like build-up with the characters to say, okay, here's what's going on, here's how they've been, here's their new relationship status between him and them, which I fucking love, dude. Luke. Oh my god. Hold on, we'll get there. Fucking because I forgot I have like different shit.
A mountain of notes.
Yes, because I do them in order too, because I do them as the movie goes, so I gotta jump ahead. Fucking. Oh yeah, one thing. I don't know about how many fanboys are watching this shit, but we need to have a talk to make sure you're not just shitting your pants with anger, because Yoda did not instruct Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon taught him, and Yoda taught Qui-Gon. So I imagine that the fanboys are going to lose their fucking mind about that. Did you notice that?
Yes. Yeah.
His
Yoda says that he taught Obi-Wan.
right. Or no,
Yeah,
it was Obi-Wan. He was like, "Go to Master Yoda. He taught me."
yeah,
It was when he had
yeah, and
that.
then Yoda also said that he taught. Did he? No, I don't remember. I think Obi-Wan just said that Yoda taught him.
Right,
But I mean, technically, he wasn't wrong because the prequels do kind of show that Yoda teaches the younglings.
right. He's sort
Um,
of a mentor in general.
yeah, but
Even
he
as an
also
adult.
yeah, yeah. But the
Um,
way it presented in this movie was that Yoda was his teacher slash master.
right. And I
But
wonder if
yeah,
like fanboys got fucking pissed in the prequels when they seen that shit. Um,
maybe, probably.
because
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Star Wars
I never
fanboys
I
are
never hear that from
right.
people,
I've
so
never
I
heard that.
assume either they overlooked it or they're like they see that Yoda teaches younglings when the second one comes out that they're fine with it.
Right, because
Uh,
I've never heard anyone mad about it, and Star Wars
I've
fans are
seen
pretty outspoken.
I've also seen a YouTuber who's I think he's slightly older than me. He's like in his 40s, and he's a Star Wars YouTuber, and he talks about how like when Episode 1 came out, there wasn't actually all this hate at the
Right.
beginning. Um, it wasn't until like Episode 2 came out that the hate actually started flowing out. People were starting to bitch about Phantom Menace. Um,
Interesting. Is that because you think two
but
was better?
I don't know, but I started seeing people like that's what he said that there was a lot of hype around the Phantom
Oh,
Menace.
I bet. Fucking, it's been like 15
Mhm.
years.
Like even after it came out, there was a lot of people who were still like, "Yeah, that was gold, that was perfect." And it wasn't until like a couple months. Actually, no, it wasn't. I think he said it was before Clone Wars came out, but it was like after months after the movie came out, it was finally when it started dying down. And then people were starting to bitch about it. Um,
I
but
guess that makes sense though,
initially,
because they were just high on the new Star Wars period.
yeah,
Which I don't know. In retrospect, we just did ours, and I think that number one was fine. Actually, I thought it was pretty good and kind of underrated. So, but
yeah,
then again, most people don't, I guess, think about literature that way. So maybe they were just like, after the high was gone of it being a new Star Wars, they were like, this isn't nowhere near as good as Episode 5. I fucking hate it.
yeah,
Um, I guess that makes sense, yeah, because obviously they're gonna love it when it comes out because it's any amount of Star Wars, you know.
yeah.
That makes
Um,
sense. You know what I heard that apparently people fucking hated 3PO
oh really?
when 4
That's
came
funny.
out.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if can't confirm this or deny this, but somebody said they were like chilling at lunch one day. They were like, "Yeah, fucking people hated 3PO almost as much as they hated Jar Jar," and I was like, "Really?" Because that seems unlikely. But because I think 3PO is one of like without him and R2 especially, that without those two, the movies lose at least a point or two
I feel like
from.
I've heard someone vaguely say that the Ewoks, when they came out, were not well received by older fans.
Uh,
Um,
which
but
makes sense. They're kind of
I can't
cutesy.
confirm.
Um,
Yeah, I can't confirm that.
because if you look at like the way that it was set up, if you look at like 4 and 5,
Yeah,
I don't think that the cutesy Ewoks were where the story was leading. It was getting
yeah,
grittier and darker as it went along.
yeah.
So I could definitely see the more mature audience not, receiving it very
Jiving
well.
with the, or as the kids say now, vibing, not jiving.
Ah, vibing. Yeah, they don't.
They don't say
We don't
jiving
vibe,
anymore.
bro. I'm on a totally different frequency, man.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
know, I
no,
know, I know, I know. Zillennial talk. What are they called? Zoomers? I don't know.
you
Uh,
can call them anything. They don't. They answer to anything nowadays. I don't fucking know.
uh, but see, yeah, 3PO wasn't as well received, I guess. I don't know.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but somebody in the comments will say, "Yeah, I fucking hated that dickhead," or maybe not. I don't know if you watched him because I watched him as a kid on VHS. So I was in like the '90s. So
I watched it on a sci-fi show.
I don't know what the reception was when it came out in theaters. I wasn't old enough or born. But yeah, moving on. When he fucking cut that Ewok open, that shit was gross. Or not Ewok. Fucking you got me on Ewoks.
Tartar.
When he
Tar-
had, God damn,
Wait,
that
Tauntaun.
shit was actually yeah,
Tauntaun.
that's nasty. Like, oh god, like the special effects team outdid themselves because that was fucking gross. Like, speaking of special effects, these movies have some really awesome shit. Um,
Yeah,
and I have to really appreciate like what they obviously some of the stuff you can tell is claymation or is miniature models or whatever, but I can
yeah,
move past that, given that I know the history. Because if you look at some of this stuff, I mean, fuck, dude, like this is way back in the day. Like they didn't have technology, So they
They did.
really put like some fucking amazing, like tremendous amount of work into this stuff to make it look so realistic, and I got to give them credit for that. Like that's actually really it was top notch given the time frame that which they made the movies.
Yeah.
Same thing for Tron. We should do those movies. I don't. The reason I say that we should probably shouldn't because it should be me sucking those movies' dicks for the fucking 6 hours. Because I love Tron and Tron Legacy. Those movies are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I did see a video, like a documentary, explaining the design process. Oh man, they went through some tough shit to get those things done. Like I'm talking about individually, frame by frame, getting the fucking reels of frames done.
Hmm.
Like to put the special effects on, they were like 15 layers. It was like 15 layers of individual frames, 60 frames per second or some shit, or 30. I don't know how much. And it was crazy the amount of work they were doing. They eventually sent it off to China. They outsourced it to somebody who
Hmm.
sent it back, but they sent it back wrong. So they sent it back because it was like they didn't have a chance to like harden or melt or some kind of fucking process wasn't done right. So like the things were sticking together. I don't know. It was fucking wild to hear about the crazy amount of work, and the actors had to wear these crazy ass suits. I don't know. It was just cool.
Hmm.
Short story long. Star Wars is good, and special effects are hard.
Yes, they are.
But the look on Luke's face after she kissed him. Oh my god, he just sat back like, yeah.
He smirks. Like, yep. It looks like I got more than you do. More game. Oh my god.
I love it, dude. Oh man. But I love those because
He
Han like
kissed him to make Han mad. Like that's so. Like, nah, you didn't win, Luke. Get the fuck out of here.
no, I love
Uh,
it because Luke doesn't know any better, but those two know better, and that's what makes it even better. Because I think Han mentioned something about it. He says something about it, and like
yeah.
he's just so right that makes him even funnier because he's kind of an asshole, but he's never really wrong. But that's what makes it better. That's why I like his character so much, and like him and Leia's interactions because he definitely cares about her, and she should know that. He knows that, but he also knows that she cares about him, but she's like denying it more than him, or maybe they're denying about the same. I think, um, but he's willing to confront it. She's not. So like every time
Mhm.
they confront it, he's kind of a dickhead about it because she's beating around the bush, and then that just that kind of confirms it. He said some line, I don't know if I have it or not, but like he mentions like her doing that shit on purpose or something like that, and that shit was great. But yeah, no, and fucking his shit gets even better too because when he's going to fix the and this is why I like it. They do his character such justice because when he goes to fix because he's on this like big macho man, you know, I'm doing all this shit and the princess wants me, he's all this shit, and you kind of see that he's a little bit arrogant. Then he goes to
Mhm.
fix the ship after bitching at Chewie for breaking it, and he's like, "Yep." He was like, "This is it. Go ahead and turn it on." And he turns it on. It starts fucking like shocking, and she's like, "Turn it off! Turn it off!"
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Wait,
that
that wasn't
shit
Han?
is.
Wasn't I saying that? Wasn't Han telling him to turn it off?
Yeah, Han, because Han was the one who
Yeah.
fixed it. He air
Yeah.
quotes fixed it, and then he's like, "Go ahead and turn her on, Chewie." And he said it with such confidence, like he was like, "Oh, this is easy. You're just a
Yeah.
dumb Wookiee." And then it just completely broke down, and he was like, "Turn it off! Turn it off!" And it shows him being like vulnerable as a dude and like not as macho, and he can't fix shit like he thinks he can, and it kind of breaks his confidence to the viewer. And I like
Yeah.
that a lot, man. Like, because that makes him all the more adorable, like, or likable, I guess, whatever you want to look at it as. Because I mean, if he was just a dickhead, well, he's a dickhead. You'll get tired of them. They're only as handsome as they are for so long, right? Like his looks can carry him pretty far, but it can't take him forever.
Yeah.
So it's the moments when he has those little breakdowns and those little character subtleties that make him really interesting and like likable, I think. But I'm
Uh,
trying to think if there's anything else in the beginning because he was at the mainstay of the beginning.
um,
Him
those
and
he was talking in the beginning. He was talking about wanting to go pay off his debts
Jabba,
to Jabba, and the guy was telling him, "Sure, you don't want to stay? We
right?
could really use you in the rebellion, or whatever." So, but he'd been there for a while, right? He just decided randomly he wanted to leave to go finally pay off his debts.
I think it'd have to have been. We're gonna give it at minimum, I'd say a month because they had that
Also,
entire base set up.
yeah, but I'm gonna give it like a small, just not really critique. But like I feel like if they had to deal with like a bounty hunter coming down there to come take his bounty, I'd feel like that'd be like pressuring him to leave. But it just seems like kind of just, oh, the movie's happening, so we need him to want to go now.
Oh, I thought he was having a fight with Leia.
No, he was fighting, having a fight with Leia because he was about to leave.
See, I thought it was
She
because
was
they were
mad at him
already
because he was
fighting.
leaving. No, he was already planning on leaving. At that point, because that's why she was mad at him because he was deciding to leave.
Was it?
Yeah,
I see. Because Chewie didn't know about it, so I guess I mean it was kind of I guess if what you're saying is true, it was kind of like coming out of nowhere. So Chewie'd be blindsided as well.
yeah.
But I guess for me, I thought it felt to me like
So I think like that was the opening line with him, was somebody saying, "You sure you don't want to stay? We could really use a guy like you." Like, no, I got Jabba's bounty hunters on my back or something.
right. But then you go
So,
immediately after that into him and Leia fighting.
yeah.
So I thought that the
But
reason
she
they
already
were
gave him. She already had like she was already giving him this look while he was talking to that guy. So I was like, oh, she's pissed at him for something.
right. So that's what I mean. They pissed at for something. I thought they were already fighting, and rather than
It
deal
could
with
be.
the
It could be
problem,
either one, right? It could be either one.
right. So I thought rather than deal with his problem, he's gonna leave, right?
Yeah.
Like they were kind of
Okay.
flirting. They weren't sure.
I can kind of see that.
He got kind
Yeah.
of scorned.
Okay.
He maybe he opened himself a little bit, and then as he opened
Yeah.
himself, she shut him down because she's the princess. So then he was like, "Well, fuck you, then I'm fucking out," you know. Which makes
Uh huh.
sense because that's why he also stayed when he found out something happened to Luke.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked that. I also loved when he was fucking what do you call it? When the dude was he was like, "Hey, where's Skywalker?" Oh, he hasn't come back from his shift yet. And it's like the middle of the night. He's like, "Well, then why don't you go fucking find him?" That shit mattered because it really showed though that Luke ain't shit to the rebellion. Like he
Yeah,
is.
he's just a soldier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a commander, I think, or something, or at least he's a higher up. But
Well, I took that more as like he's fine. He knows how to take care of himself, right?
mhm.
But I mean, it could be either one.
Well, no, he hasn't. He has a title. I thought. Him and
Yeah,
Han
but I'm
have
saying that I'm saying that they thought like, oh, he could take care of himself. He knows what he's doing. Like they're so sure they're so confident in
Oh,
his abilities.
okay, okay.
Um,
See, I guess I figured it as he's not important to anybody. But you're right. He's a fucking magical Jedi. So
yeah.
that makes sense why they.
I remember like to these people, like a lot of these people are in their 20s, so they know nothing about Jedi's. They
Right.
with all they've known is the stories of like how fucking invincible a Jedi is and stuff like
Right.
that.
That makes sense.
So
And the only person who knows him for real would be Han,
yeah,
and he knows he's still just a bumbling kid. So that's why he
yeah,
was more concerned than anybody else. I guess that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But it did show Han's character, and back what I said a couple minutes ago, that like that intro, the first 10, 15 minutes, you really get a lot of character, man. Um,
yeah.
but it never felt slow. It never felt preachy. It never felt slow. The plot was still being pushed, like the whole way. It was pretty fucking good. But until let's see, until they find him, he makes it back. Speaking of which, he had to sleep in a. How did he make a shelter out there? I'm gonna
They
nitpick
went in.
this.
Who?
Han, he made a shelter with just some snow, and they didn't die.
He made an igloo.
I
Was
guess.
that an igloo? Did they
I don't
make an
know.
igloo? They just went in the tauntaun, right? And then they got saved.
Well, no, because he made the tauntaun for Luke. He said you just stay in here to heat up, buddy. I'll get you a shelter made. And then then you see him in the morning. That's a super nitpick that does not matter at all. But I did wonder.
Yeah, maybe he made an igloo. I don't know. How quickly does one make an igloo?
I don't know. How quickly do you die out there with clothes on?
Was there a blizzard, or was it just like they were just saying that the temperatures are really cold out there?
It's
At
cold
night
enough
for
to kill a fucking furred animal just standing. So
True,
I imagine it's pretty fucking cold.
but he's a scoundrel. He has toughness. He's resilient.
That's true.
Um,
That is true. I just imagine they slept in the lightsaber. Uh,
he slept in the
they
lightsaber.
slept with the heat of the lightsaber all night.
I guess.
um,
Uh,
but anyways, but the fucking to move on to the actual scary part of this entire shit is that as soon as they fucking Empire found out that like what do you call it? Oh, they're there. They showed up in like I'm gonna say maybe an hour,
yeah.
2 hours. You know how fucking terrifying that is, and it made me wonder how scary the Galactic Empire really is. Because
About an hour.
Right.
No, no,
Within
I'm sorry. An igloo can you can build an igloo in about an hour.
that's not that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, he made an igloo and they saved the night. Because he could
But
do it faster
this
too. Because
says
he
an
could.
expert igloo builder will take about an hour. Can
Well, the
build one
thing is
in
though,
an
he had a
hour.
lightsaber, so he can cut the holes and everything. And
I guess, yeah.
so I imagine he just used a lightsaber to cut a hole underground, to kind of make a big hole and then kind of cover it.
Someone new to building an igloo would take about 3 to 6, depending on the size of the igloo. Was it big? It was kind of small, right?
No, it was just
Uh,
we didn't even see it in the morning. He'd already
yeah.
destroyed it,
Oh, okay.
so it must have
Yeah.
been just big enough to keep them from dying.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool, but
And they
yeah,
were there
no,
what, a month? We said they were there for about a month.
I don't know. We don't. It's not unconfirmed.
We
But
don't. It's unconfirmed. Yeah.
they had an
All right.
entire base built, so a month
Yeah.
is the minimum I'll give you. I'd say closer
Yeah.
to 6 months, which makes more sense for their character development as well.
Yeah.
6 months to a year, but either way.
Yeah.
Um, but no, the fact that the Empire can be anywhere in the galaxy in a
Yeah.
matter of like hours is fucking scary, and that's how I guess they rule the galaxy. Because I'm like, it's a galaxy. Fuck the Empire. And then they find this place and have Star Destroyers there in no time to kill all of them. I'm like, holy shit! I just, I thought about that in real terms. Like,
Were they in the outer rim? Did they ever like specify if it was in the mid rim or the outer rim?
they didn't.
You'd think so, right? You'd think that the villain would always be in the outer rim because that'd be the hardest place for the Empire to reach.
Yes, has to be.
Um,
Well, you would imagine.
yeah,
Whatever it was the Hoth system, because I thought Hoth was the name of the planet, but
it
this.
is. Yeah, well, the systems are all named after the planet. So
Oh,
like, if like Earth was in the Star Wars universe, it'd be the Earth system, the
so what
Naboo
is it like?
system.
That's
Yeah,
like us and the moon's area around us, kind of.
yeah, yeah. Well, the whole like star system. That's like so the sun would, even though the sun is the center of our solar system, it'd be the Earth system because ours is the planet with the actual like people that live on it.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, I mean, the fact that was pretty intense. Speaking of intense, how the fuck did he choke that guy through the screen?
It's the Force.
He choked him on a television.
That's how powerful he is.
No, I don't even know how fucking powerful he is. That was stupid. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it, dude.
He used the Force to choke him through the screen. Is he not fucking awesome?
You could look at it that way. I have a little bit of a different questions. Oh my god, bro. That shit was funny though. But I will say that what that did for Vader's character though is fuck, man. Like, he's a real piece of shit. Like, he just fucking killed that dude for not jumping hyperspace earlier. That was it. Like, he
What
told
was
them
exactly
to.
the line he said? He said, "Why didn't you do it earlier?" or something like that.
Yeah, because he was like,
Uh,
he said, the rebels have put up a shield device or something. He said, you came out of hyperspace too close to them, you fool, and then fucking killed him. And it was like, Jesus Christ, like, how was he supposed to know that the rebels had a bunch of tracking devices to know that they would be there?
Because they're the rebels. They've clearly been fighting them for years.
Okay, you're not wrong. Maybe he, yes, yeah,
I say he miscalculated where he was coming out into hyperspace. Remember, like Han in the first movie was talking about like he had to be careful not to fucking come out like on a rock or something. So like somebody did some bad calculations and he came out way too close to the system. They already knew the base was there.
Right.
They had a scout earlier on, right?
Right. So
I
they
remember
knew where to
correctly.
go.
Yeah.
But he fucking just killed him for that. And then I remember he killed a guy in the first movie.
Yeah.
Like, this fucker's ruthless. It just helped reinforce that because I don't remember him being like this much of a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then we talked about it in the first movie too. That the fucker, he was like, "Where are the plans?" Like fucking slicing.
I want them alive.
Yeah, like he was slicing motherfuckers up and cut. I was like, God damn, like. And I think I watched too much of like the fucking sixth movie or the prequels that I have this soft spot and don't remember Vader being this fucking terrifying bad guy. But no, he was a real fucking scary bad guy.
You're talking about he killed all the women and children.
Yes,
And
that was different. That was different. He felt bad about that. But no, and then when he showed up on the planet, that's how you knew that motherfucker was serious. He
In
showed
the
up on the
business.
planet, walking into the crumbling base, ready to kick some ass. Like
At this point, he knows that Luke is his son, right? I don't remember.
he's
I
always
think he does.
known, I think.
Oh, he didn't really know in the first one. I think he was suspicious.
Maybe
Uh,
did Palpatine tell him?
I don't think I think Palpatine. They had this weird, coy conversation to try not to give away the "I am your father"
Right,
line, and he said, "Skywalker's son is among them." And he's like, "He could be turned." Um,
right. And that's what I think I asked you, but did I ask you about that, or was that something? Maybe is that this movie?
what
Does that quote comes from this movie, right?
the "No, I am your father" or "Can he
No,
be turned"?
Skywalker's son.
Yeah, that was this movie.
I didn't write that down, but I feel like I
Yeah,
remember I was gonna.
Palpatine wasn't in the first one
Okay, so I was
or
gonna
in
ask you
episode.
about
Yeah,
that because I remember that line. It must be either it happened later or it's not in my notes for some reason. But I was gonna ask you about that
yeah.
because it seemed weird to me that he speaks to him like that, and I was gonna
It was
ask,
to him. Oh, go ahead.
is that
Go
just
ahead.
how serious it is? Like when you fucking like, oh, you're a Sith now. You're not Skywalker no more. You are Darth Vader. I was like, is that how serious it is that when he talks about Skywalker's son, that's a different person that they have actual alter egos?
Uh, I guess.
Because
I
that'd
mean,
be
because
kind of fucked
Dooku,
up. Like, how
Dooku never
serious?
let go of Count Dooku, and they kept calling him Count Dooku, and he was all yeah under. He was in disguise, staying like, oh, I'm not a Sith, I'm not a Jedi. I've left the Force long ago. Whatever, blah blah blah. But
Right.
he was Darth Tyrannus
Hmm.
at that point. But yeah, I mean, Maul never goes by anything other than Maul, right?
Right. So I wonder if you do, like, if the dark side actually corrupts your mind and it's like, no, I am this guy now.
Maybe.
Like, that guy's dead. He's gone. That's not me anymore. That's a different person type shit. Um, like, true
I
brainwash.
always read that scene as more like just him being like not like being weird about it, just to like tell him like like he's still manipulating Vader into saying you are Darth Vader, you are not Anakin Skywalker. So he refers to Anakin being dead. Um,
Right. Also, we
um
don't necessarily know if he had any sort of, like, not amnesia, but some kind of, like, fucked up mental state, right?
mm.
Because he became, like, a torso and almost died and then came back to life.
He
So
had a little more than a torso. He had some nubs.
yeah, I guess he had some nubs. But, so maybe he actually had some sort of, like, mental fuck up and he was very, like, distressed, you know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
So maybe he did come back and he was like, Darth Vader, he was like, and all he could remember was Padme, and he was like, you killed her, and he was like, Darth Vader, you did this, and he's like, that's who you are, that's your name now, and then like maybe he just genuinely thought that's who he was, and that
They do some.
Skywalker.
That's kind of spoilery for the Obi-Wan show, but like they kind of address that a little bit to try to make it seem more uh uh like, oh, that makes sense now why he says Anakin is dead.
Ah, I see.
Kind of,
I guess we'll see. I haven't got there, so we'll figure that out.
yeah.
But fucking, but yeah, that shit, like, it was, I think it was okay, but I did catch that scene. Moving on to them leaving when fucking R2 is freaking out, just wild beeping. We're
Oh, the
going,
little
we're
baby.
going.
Yeah. He's like, what the fucking get a move on.
Right.
The fucking Empire's here.
Oh my god, that shit was funny. We're going. I can't get enough, dude. Like, I really do, because those moments, they're not comedy. And this is what the biggest part that the Marvel movies miss, and I was going to bring this up during this discussion. The one thing I think a lot of the new Marvel shit misses is that nothing about 3PO or R2 like is comedic by nature. That's just who they are as people.
Well, that's like
Or
comedy
robots, I guess.
101 is like if your character laughs, it's not funny. Like I've seen so many interviews with other actors in other shows and movies, and they're always like, they need to say all their lines straight because otherwise it's not gonna be funny. Um, like, um, and it's something that's been kind of lost recently in newer movies.
Right,
where like
because like
a lot of
R2
people just
freaking the
laugh at
fuck
their own
out
jokes.
is not funny, but it's
Yeah.
hilarious because he's freaking the fuck out.
Uh,
But like, yeah, like it's just weird, like you're not telling a joke. That's the point. Like you're not like I think newer movies had this idea that they're telling jokes, like especially
what's the difference between like telling a joke and making one-liners? Because one-liners are a type of joke that really get old quickly.
right. And there's a lot of one-liners and a lot of shit like that, and
Yeah.
like in fucking Marvel especially.
Yeah.
But when I look at like the comedy in Star Wars, like 3PO, he just
It come
talks.
it it comes from the situations rather than somebody saying something. Because like
Yes.
all the Marvel stuff can be funny outside of the situation.
Right. It's the character's interaction with that situation that makes it funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're dying! They're being ripped apart! If only I had pressed the button sooner! This shit is fucking hilarious! And it's because he thinks that way.
Exactly.
Or when he's going to Han, I think it's in this movie, he was like, excuse me? He was like, shut up,
Oh, when
not now!
they were kissing, whenever Han and Leia were kissing, and he says,
Oh,
"Sir, it's done," or whatever. Like,
even better. I was talking about the build up to that scene, but that scene is
oh,
icing on the fucking cake. He had been trying to tell him forever.
thank you. And C-3PO doesn't understand. He
No.
doesn't know why, like, or like, doesn't even understand that he's like angry at him. He legit thinks he's thanking him.
Because he had been like, because he had been building up to that. Because he was like, Mr. Han or whatever, like, sir, it's something. He had been trying to tell him your power regulator is fucked up or whatever it was. He
Yeah,
had been trying to tell him, and he kept shut up, not now, leave me alone. Then the power regulator, oh shit, the power regulator's fucked up. Well, yes, I've been trying to tell you. That was funny, because like he'd been trying to tell him, but based on the personalities, it wasn't gonna work, and that makes it
Yeah.
kind of comedic. But it also builds stress, it builds tension, because if they would have listened to him, they could have fixed it.
yeah.
So it's weird that it's comedy and drama all in the same fucking bit. But then it pays off, yeah, and that scene in the closet, because 3PO was so excited. When he rolled into that fucking like little weird area cubby closet, he said, "Sir, sir!" He was so fucking happy. And he was like, yes. He was like, we fixed it. Oh my god.
The movie's
That
great.
shit was good. Who was it? Speaking of Han and his stupid shit and interactions, when they were flying off in the fucking thing,
Yeah.
he I love this that's why I love this character, and that's why I liked the prequels kinda, because it showed that he was incompetent, and I think he still kinda is, but he still pretends to be a badass. Because that fucker said, oh yeah? Watch this. And nothing happened. And it was Leia or 3PO goes, watch what?
I don't remember which one said it.
Oh my god. And then he said, the odds of this are 3 point blah 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 blah. He said, never tell me the odds. I said, damn right, never tell him the odds. But I don't believe him. Like that's what makes it so good. I don't believe him. When he says never tell me the odds, that fucker is scared shitless and he does not think he's going to make it out of there. But that's why I love his character so much. Oh my god.
He's great. I like
And then
him.
it even gets better. When he starts actually fucking up and he like flows into he goes into the asteroid field and they're all going to die. She says something about like how they're all going to die in the asteroid field. But earlier, she had mentioned she was because he said something, then he got away with it because he was like, "Oh, this is gonna work," and it did. She was like, "I really want to be there when you make a mistake." So he flies into the asteroid field and they almost die. He goes, "Well, you said you want to be around when I made a mistake. Here, this might be it, sweetheart." That shit was so funny, dude. Oh my god. Because I don't know, a character like that, this is why Han is so beloved, I feel like. It's because a guy like that, he believes it, but simultaneously you could tell he doesn't believe it, or either doesn't have the skills to back it up, or whatever it is, but then it kind of works out. Like, he's charming as fuck somehow, but he does he has enough of it to back it up. It's like, he's not all the way there. He's not what he brags about being, but he's close enough that he can get away with it. Oh my god. He's like the perfect blend of like action but stupid but kind of funny. But I don't know. He's got it all. Like
I don't know. I feel like the guy from the Mummy, Brendan Fraser's character from the Mummy,
whew,
is like the perfect blend of
Brendan
action
Fraser's got
comedy.
it pretty good. I think he
Uh,
had a little bit too much cheese.
okay. Well, I'm a fan of the cheese, so I guess yeah.
I think yeah, he
Uh,
has just if Brendan Fraser had a tidbit less cheese, he'd be the sort of Han Solo of those movies. But also, those movies are great. I think he does well with the cheese, but he's not as dashing or charming
I haven't
nearly
watched the sequels
as.
as an adult, so I can't attest to the rest of them. But I've rewatched the original Mummy, and it still holds up. That shit's fucking
Got you. I'll tell you one
beautiful.
thing I still fucking hate about those movies. Give me nightmares. It's those fucking scarabs. Fuck
Ooh, good, bro.
that.
I couldn't rewatch those movies when I was a kid. I was like, oh no, no, no,
Fuck
I can't
that.
fucking scarabs. Oh my god.
Fuck that, dude. He said, ah, ah, and you just see it in the. I don't even think about it. Stop. We're done. We're moving on. um, no, when fucking art when they were going to Dagobah,
Yeah,
he says, yeah, it seems that there's plenty of signs of life. It seems to be uninhabited or not uninhabited. He said something about it being like a jungle planet or lots of life.
yeah, yeah.
Fucking R2, he beeps a bunch of times. He goes, of course it's safe for droids. I just picture R2. Is it safe for droids? Are you sure? I don't want to go down there and die. Oh, and then he gets down there and it's most certainly not safe for droids.
Safe for him. He's just an idiot. He
he,
fucking went into the water.
no, that wasn't his fault.
Oh,
He,
yeah, the fucking ship fell in, didn't it?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then he
That was
just
Luke's fault
and then
because
he
he
fell in
landed
the
on a.
bog. And then as he's in the bog, Luke is just sitting there. R2,
Yeah, because Luke's
R2,
dumbass landed in the swamp instead
you
of
okay
fucking
in
landing
there?
somewhere hard. Fucking
Dude, I was
idiot.
pissed. I was legitimately fucking pissed because if something would have happened to R2 and this bitch just sat there, R2, you okay down there? Is that you fall into a swamp in an uncharted planet of unknown depth and I can't hear you
That
anymore?
I brought you to because I'm a fucking idiot.
Right! Like, you fucking kid. If he wouldn't have jumped in there and saved R2, I would have been fucking furious, dude. I was not having that scene. Stupid ass bitch. Oh, man. Um, but, fuck, because I can't remember the timeline of when these things happen, because I think they're still stranded while he's doing his training.
Yeah.
Because this is also part of the movie that was kind of cool. Actually, a lot of the movie, to me, Luke took a back seat. I'd say for almost a majority of the movie, it was Han, 3PO, Leia, and R2. That were my characters. And then, of course, Lando. We'll get there. Whew. Oh, baby. That is a handsome man. And he's so dashing. But yeah, Luke's whole shit took a side beat, but it was perfectly done, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be a side thing. Like, I don't know how to say that, but I don't know. It just is weird because he's like, I guess he's the main character, maybe one of them, but I think he's supposed to be the
Yeah.
main. But a lot of movies, I think, when a character has a moment by themselves, either they're too much of the main character that they can't give them time alone or whatever, or the other characters just can't handle the spotlight. They're not well written enough. But I notice there's not many movies I can think of where the main dude just takes a back seat for like 3/4 of the movie and is either not on screen or is just doing some shit by themselves. Because, I mean, it was a
Mm,
majority of the movie he wasn't there. He wasn't there
I would
for.
say
Good?
I was thinking of one, but like most of them are sequels, just like this one. So I guess that's technically why. But you don't have to really focus on the main character that much in sequels because you kind of already established. Um,
I guess that makes sense, yeah, because if Luke would have left in the first one, 4, I guess,
yeah,
it would have felt different, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Hmm. I do think that it does matter that Han's a strong enough character, but maybe you're right, because yes, you just gotta have both, right? Maybe it doesn't have to be a sequel, but kind of. I'm trying to think of like Big Hero 6, right?
They're also like really like they're his friends and they're his motivation in this movie. So like the reason why he abandons his training is because of his friends are in danger. So we kind of have to establish that they're in danger. So it still kind of pertains to Luke.
Right, it does
Um,
kind of play into that, doesn't it?
yeah,
It's just well written. Fuck. I guess there's no other way to say that, is it?
yeah.
Because I'm trying to think of like other movies, and I was thinking like a Big Hero 6, right? The main dude just like dips off for a while to train. That wouldn't feel
Uh,
good.
well, we watched his training arc, the kid from Big Hero 6.
Right. And I guess
We
if he
watched,
left, it wouldn't have pertinence to the story.
yeah.
Because this pays off. And that's a weird thing, right? I guess in any given moment, it's okay to fuck your story up, air quotes, if it pays off in the end, I guess. And I don't see a lot of that. Normally, I
Hmm.
guess maybe I misremember a lot of shit because my memory is fucking awful. But I don't remember a lot of movies where it's like, we're gonna totally split up the main cast. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna throw this shit into left field, and you're gonna fucking sit here for an hour while we do that, and then it's gonna pay off in the end. I feel like movie telling now is very close knit. Here's what's going on. Now they're together. Now they go fight together. Then they train. Then they win. But it's always pretty tight, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I would say, well, yeah, I would say a lot of the creativity is now starting to feed into shows, what it looks like to me, um,
Makes
rather than
sense.
movies. There's less movies that are like creatively driven, rather than like they're mostly the studios like we need this, we need that. It was what it seems like to me because a lot of movies are cookie cutter, or trying to be Marvel, or trying to play it extremely safe. Um,
Right. Which makes
well,
sense.
yeah.
I mean, movies are fucking expensive nowadays. But
Not really. There's been a lot of crazy jumps in tech that I say jumps. It seems like jumps, but
right.
they're not really anymore. But I have to send you. I keep talking about it, but I have to send you this video of like how they shot the Mandalorian.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, they have this like giant curved, I think is a screen. I can't but they run Unreal on it, and they create worlds like Star Wars, like for the Star Wars world, they create them, and that's the backgrounds. And you couldn't fucking tell by watching the fucking film, what the show.
Ooh.
Um and they basically have, yeah, they do like almost everything. I think they filmed the entire first season in just that room.
Yeah, but
Um
you got to remember too. That was also they were wasn't it like they were told you're getting a shit budget and no one's gonna like
Yeah,
it.
but it doesn't look like it was a shit budget because they had that giant leap in
Right.
tech.
So does
And
that make me wonder that like what if the problem nowadays is people are just throwing money at shit and that movies don't have to be that expensive if they have care taken to them?
yeah,
Because a lot of movies they don't get pilots or they don't get aired or they don't get like made or maybe they get made shittily because they're like, oh, it's gonna cost us $200 billion to make
yeah,
this
no,
movie.
one of my favorite directors, Robert Rodriguez, he made, I forget which one was the first one, if it was the Mariachi or if it was Once Upon a Time in Mexico, but that whole trilogy, the first movie, I think he made, I don't want to fucking misquote the number, but it was small for like a budget for a movie made in that time. And like the budget was tiny. Well, second. Mariachi Robert Rodriguez. Yes, the first one, 1992. That sounds about right. Uh 2 million. Oh no, that's how much it made. How much did he spend on it? Um Seven, there we go. Okay, there's the post production was 200,000, but uh before the post production it was only seven. He only spent 7 grand on the movie.
I see. So yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe people just got to start being more creative and stop throwing fucking money at movies.
Yeah.
Because I get sick
Yeah,
and
they,
tired
they
of.
spent, okay, it took them 7 grand to $7,225 to make the movie. And then after they made the movie, Columbia spent 200,000 to transfer it to film, to
Wow.
actually like make movies to fucking sell. Um
Right. Right.
but he made that and showed it to Columbia, and they said, "Holy shit, this is a good movie." Um
Right.
so
Because you got to
yeah.
do that, man. I think that's the problem is there's just it's not all CG and big effects and big names and licensing IPs and shit. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know, give people a chance too. I guess that's also a weird one. Like you mentioned, it's like, oh, we have to have this, we have to have this. It's not popular if it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. But the reason no one's willing to take any risks anymore is because you're talking about tens of millions of dollars. It's going to cost me $80 million to make this movie. So how many do you have to sell to make my money back, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
but if it's like, hey, it's gonna cost me 500,000 to make this movie, I don't give a fuck. Go make it. you know, like as long as it sells any amount, I'll get 500,000 back.
yeah.
So I think that if they took
Yeah,
more
well,
of
it's
an
the
approach like
studio.
that,
It's like you're not entitled to the studio's money
no, but I mean you
to
should be
make
good
to
enough if
make
your
your
pitch
movie.
is well enough. If you have ideas, I wonder if it's. I don't think there shouldn't be a lack of creativity out there. There's a lack of access.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, but anyone can go to spend 8 grand on a movie that they want to make. It's like that guy just like that guy did. But
well, there's some amount of like special effects and things you want to do and location and
yeah,
there's a lot of that plays into it. I feel like you can't do a car chase. I feel like unless you
no,
have production
yeah,
because they have to block off streets and do this other. I mean, you could get maybe like a permit from the city and stuff and do it like that maybe. Um,
hmm
Not impossible. You definitely have to work harder. The cheaper money the less money you have, the harder you have to work.
yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact of life, not just movie making. but yeah, I don't know. Where were we at? We were at
We were talking about the special effects in Star Wars and how it looked really good, right? Is that not what we
no.
were on?
That was
No,
way long ago.
that was that was way earlier. Yeah,
This one
yeah.
was Mandalorian. This is Star Wars vs X
How they did
Men.
the special effects, and then we went. How did?
Han's character, good characters. Um, nope, gone. I'm really good about this too. I don't know. This is the
Usually,
one
yeah,
time I've lost. Yeah. um, let's see. Budgets, creativity. Oh, creativity. It was about the
yeah,
fact that Luke took a back seat for half the fucking movie,
yeah.
and that's a
Okay.
risk. Because if you tell someone right now, like, hey, we're gonna have a Superman movie, but Superman's not gonna be in it for half the, well, that's different. Luke isn't like a Superman of his own movie, but I guess maybe there's some analogy that puts you in your fucking brain, not you, but whoever's listening, whoever anybody, try and find in your brain some analogy of a different series where they would not take that risk of losing some of the character for a lot of the drama and action. Um, it seems like characters you have your guy, your character, your face, and that's it. Maybe they have a couple that they bounce off of, but
Not to bring One Piece back into one of our conversations, but One
yes,
Piece did it in Skypiea, a full um month without Luffy. Whenever they did the flashback to Noland and Kalgara.
One Piece has done everything well though. Like that's not
um,
that's not fair.
Naruto technically did it too um after after he beat dude who said he fought the first Hokage, waterfall guy, Kakuzu. After Naruto beats Kakuzu, it was a joke around the Naruto community. We called it Sasuke Shippuden now, because it was like following Sasuke and the new team he formed with
Oh
all the
yeah,
Orochimaru
I like
test
the little
subjects.
fish kid. He was my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. That was a solid like 4 volumes of Sasuke Shippuden. That
Right.
was Nah, it wasn't 4 volumes, was it? It might have been. I don't remember. It was a long time.
I definitely didn't
Uh,
like that arc because I didn't like Jugo that much. I
yeah,
didn't
he
like
was
Karin that much, and I really don't like Sasuke.
Suigetsu. Suigetsu was the one that got me. I
Yeah,
like Suigetsu a
without
lot.
Sugetsu, I wouldn't have watched it. Like, or I wouldn't have
Um,
cared anyway.
yeah, Jugo was also gave me strong 16 vibes. Android 16.
I never thought
So
about that. Yeah, I can see that.
yeah. So I thought he was gonna do something with him with like the nature and stuff, but he ended up kind of, but not really. I didn't care. But yeah.
Right.
Uh, off
It
track.
wasn't an arc, but
Um,
we got Shikamaru.
that was no, the Kakuzu arc was before that.
I'm wondering. I was wondering. We did get like enough of Shikamaru. It was a couple episodes
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's possible, but I guess I just doesn't feel it. But then again, I don't know what kind of story set themselves up like that. Because that's also the biggest problem. This is some beautiful space opera spanning 3 movies. I don't think there's a lot of other stories that fall into that category, like
No. What, a
movie
space
wise.
opera or like
Or just in general, whether it's 3 movies or it's space opera. But
uh,
because it kind of gives it freedom to do that with its characters. So maybe I'm being a little bit too critical because a singular movie couldn't do it. Even a sequel is okay at doing it. But
the Dark Knight, the Batman didn't, Batman had less screen time than the Joker, but I wouldn't say he was gone for like 30 minutes of movies. We did a lot of cutting back and forth. Um,
right.
It wasn't like a long duration of just following the Joker forever.
I mean, I guess Luke did his. He got his cuts in between, but they were very short.
Yeah. Uh,
Speaking of Luke, what the fuck was he gonna do when he went to that planet? Because he didn't tell anybody he was going there.
he was gonna go save Han and Leia.
But
Or you
when
talking
he
about Dagobah?
crashed his ship, nobody
Uh,
knew where he was. He just went off and didn't tell anybody, so he would have been fucking stuck.
talking about when he went to Cloud City, or are you talking about?
No, when he went to the fucking Dagobah, he was gonna go there and
Oh,
die.
he was going there to train.
He didn't know that though, so he crash lands. He could have just fucking
He
died.
went. No, what's his name? Told him to go there. Didn't he?
Okay,
Obi-Wan told him to go to Dagobah.
that means it's foolproof, I guess.
Yeah, Obi-Wan told him.
He
Go to
could have
Dagobah.
just. He should have at least maybe told Han, hey, if things don't go well, I'm over here. Nothing. He fucking full send it like.
Didn't Han have a line where he's like, Luke will be all right. He knows how to take care of himself. After he just had to go save him on Hoth or something like that.
Number one, that's hilarious. But number two, he did. But I think he meant that meaning he was gonna follow the ships to the new base. That was
Yeah,
his
he did.
plan.
Oh no, he did. He did say something about going. Like he lied to them. Yeah, okay, you're right. You're right. Yeah, he told them that he was going to go there, right? Go like follow them or not follow them, but he was going to meet them at the other base that everyone was going to.
I don't think he overtly mentioned it, but he was set to go on that course autopilot. Then he turned it off, and R2 was like,
Yeah,
Where are we
okay.
going?"
Yeah, okay. Yeah. He was
So, yeah,
trusting his feelings. He was using the Force.
Fuck that! He could have went there and died.
No, he's fine. He's fine. Obi-Wan told him to go there.
Sure.
He's all good.
I also love
Yeah.
Crazy Yoda. Holy shit, Crazy Yoda's fucking hilarious.
Also, his Yoda speech isn't as like the
Quotable?
prequels are. It's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little more kooky, not as following the pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a pattern for him, I guess, by the prequels. Or does he just show up in
Yeah.
number 3?
Episode 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he just dies.
Uh,
Like he says like two things and dies.
So yeah, they had to have made the speech pattern up from this one, but it wasn't
Yeah.
as much as I remember. Yeah, it definitely was more like kooky, but a couple of those came.
Yeah.
He seemed more crazy than anything.
Yeah.
That
I love the
fucker
kooky.
crawled up and was like digging in his bag, like, "Oh, don't want this shit. Nope, don't want that." It's like, what are you doing? Get out of my shit! It's what are you
He
doing
is
here?
there by himself. He hasn't seen another person in like 20 years.
I fucking probably longer than 20 because Obi-Wan was already an old man.
I mean 17 because Luke's only like 17.
Oh, it had to be. Yeah, I forgot. Obi-Wan looks much older than he would have for fucking
Yeah.
from 3 to 4.
I love the memes. It's like fucking. It shows like Obi-Wan after the prequels, and it shows the different actor, and he's like fucking ancient. And then it shows Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru, at the end of episode 3, and then in episode 4, the different actors and how old the massive fucking aging they did. And then underneath it shows the fucking the politician who adopts Leia from
Yes, black guy.
Alderaan. And it shows him. Did you say black guy? He's not
I
black.
think he was. He was tan.
No, he's
Mexican?
Latino.
Latino?
He's Latino. Yeah. I don't know exactly what Latino he is. I think he plays a Cuban in some movie, and I know he's in Narcos.
He was pretty dark.
but- yeah,
Damn,
he's
hell
very
yeah.
dark. Yeah,
He's one of those
he's
tan ones.
he's very moreno. But he what's it called? It shows him episode 3, and it shows him in Rogue One. Like, damn, what the fuck? What happened? There's something on Tatooine going on that's making people age too much. Oh my god.
That's funny.
Oh, I showed Luke too in that thing. Or not Luke, Anakin too, but I don't know what. The
Right.
motherfucker, he is stressed. He runs an
It's all-
empire. Leave him
It's all
alone.
stress, right?
He runs an empire.
That's way worse than the presidency. Dude, I love when they get to the fucking swamp too. R2 is freaking the fuck out. Not only has like he already almost been eaten, he fucking almost died. Like so much shit has been. He got attacked by the Empire not even hours ago. So then,
Yeah.
fucking Luke's like, "All right, man, you just stay with the camp. I'll be back." Just fucking leaves him.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That shit was funny, man. Because R2 was not. Like, R2's fucking great. When they're in the hut, he's like on his little tippy toes looking in. What are you doing in there?
That's just funny.
I fucking can't, dude. R2 is too good. Speaking of robots, when 3PO fucking something was cool was when they were trying to fix their shit when they were in the fucking in the monster on the asteroid.
Yeah.
3PO he was like, "Hey, talk to my ship and figure something out." And then 3PO had to like talk to the ship, air quotes, and he was like, "I don't know where your ship learned to communicate, but it has the most peculiar dialect." That's cool. I was about to say it's a throwback to fucking Solo, but it's Solo's a throwback to that
Yeah.
because it was like fucking bad bitch the ship.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that like 3PO is asking it questions digitally, and she's just
Yeah.
talking shit to him. Oh
That's
man,
just funny.
I thought that was kind of cool. It was like, damn, little shit like that. And this is also goes back to our thing. We've already discussed this in a previous one, but
Yeah.
I asked Jameson about it, and Jameson was like, "No, you need to watch 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3." And I was like, "What?" And I went through him. Excuse me. I went through him all the shit that we went through on that. The
Mhm.
only thing you objectively miss is "I'm your father," but you really get a lot of payoffs with so much other shit. But his one counterpoint that I had to give him credit for was if you're, I don't know, more like jarring, I guess. If you're the kind of person who can't watch old film, you need to watch 4, 5, and 6 first. I think because I did think about that. If you're someone who's like not gonna like, if you see 3, 1, 2, 3, and you go to 4, you're like, ew, oh god, it's ugly and gross. This special effects are terrible. You're not gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
So that may be a situation where you have to know your audience.
Well,
Of if
I don't think it's jarring because it's from old looking movies and new looking movies. I think it's jarring to some people because it's like the prequels do look a lot different. And it's not just because it looks old compared to new, but it's the world, like the way that the world. I guess it is. They're just using new stuff to film it, making it look like the old world, or the old movies. Because like
right,
the Mandalorian, it's new filming, new. It's a new movie or it's a new show, but it has, I don't know how to put it. It has a lot of practicals, effects, and it's got a lot of makeup and stuff like that and costumes rather than all CG and stuff like that.
right,
Um, like the Baby Yoda, you've been spoiled on. You know what he
yeah,
is. He is. There is a Baby Yoda puppet that is moved around and everything like a puppet. So he does have that weird, awkward movement like puppets do in older movies.
right,
But they CG his face and all that stuff, and it just looks really well done.
right,
It's like a really beautiful mixed combination of the old and the new,
right.
um, stuff.
And
And
one thing I would give him credit for too is that he did mention the storytelling. And I did think that I have this understanding in my head, but we didn't explain this last time we discussed. Is that I would guarantee you have to watch 1, 2, and 3 in a sitting. Um, at
mm,
minimum 1 and 2, but preferably 1, 2, and 3, because I think
mhm.
if you did watch number 1 by itself with no context, it's not gonna hold up. I don't think somebody would be interested enough to finish the series if all they
Yeah,
saw was 1.
yeah.
And I can't know that because even when he said that, I was like, I don't know. But I had to stop myself and say, you can't unlearn or unknow everything you
I
know
can't.
about 4, 5, and 6.
I don't know. I disagree. I don't know because I can definitely see the point of view of someone who says you should watch episode one first,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're a kid. Episode one seems very, I'm not gonna say correct, but it definitely looks like you might want to watch further on because you're like, oh, you're following Anakin, and then it's tragic when he ultimately falls to the dark side. But
Right,
I will always be the person who says watch four first, five, six, or four, five, one, two, three, but six. But I'm a dickhead, and
right,
that's my favorite thing. Is just it's an anime flashback to his father's past.
right,
That's just what I think is the coolest because I'm an anime fucking weeb. Um,
right,
but I don't know. I disagree. I think somebody could. I think you could watch it either way and be fine.
right.
Um,
But I guess
but
it had merit, I guess, is why I brought it up.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
there is an idea that maybe 1 wasn't as strong, or
So I
that the
thought we
characters
talked
weren't.
about this, and I said that you can watch it either way, but I prefer
No, we did,
the.
because you preferred that, and I prefer 1 through 6.
Yeah,
But I didn't think about specifically that aspect of not wanting to watch 1,
yeah,
2, and 3 first. With that,
yeah.
that didn't come up in conversation. If it did, I'm just stupid and I got a bad memory. But that's nothing new. um,
uh,
but yeah, so I thought I'd bring that up because that was pretty cool. Or that was a pretty good thing for other people who may have
yeah,
been watching and been like, well, no, I kind of think this or I think that because it's always
yeah,
important to get perspectives on
yeah.
shit. Um,
Uh, Still a good story regardless of where's the entry point.
right. I
Um,
guess yeah, it wouldn't really matter unless you start up with like two. um,
yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you watched it at two, it'd be really weird. I don't know. You can skip episode. I'm just playing.
bro.
Mhm.
But dude, I like when 3PO is like they're like going outside to fucking check on those monsters. He says, "Yeah, I think it may be better if I stay and guard the ship." That shit is so funny, man. Like, oh my gosh. Also, did you see that front flip Luke did with Yoda on his back, no less?
Yeah, shit
Holy
was fake
shit!
as fuck.
Was that a stuntman?
Huh? Yeah,
No way.
it had to have been. There's no way that was fucking.
I think he did it.
I don't think so.
I think Mark Hamill did it because he was young and strapping. Did you see his arms in one of the shots when he was doing the workouts?
Yeah, I say he just recently been in a fucking motorcycle accident while they're before they were filming episode 5. I doubt he was able to do a front flip without that shit fucking
Well, that was
hurting him like
only in the
crazy.
Hoth section, but in that section, his
You don't
face is
think in a
clear.
couple months later you think a couple months after a motorcycle accident you could do a front flip like that?
Yeah, 6 months after, 100%.
6 months.
Yeah, you don't know when they
Okay.
film these.
I don't know.
He's an
Uh,
actor. Actors are literally paid to be hot and work out and eat healthy, and then act.
no,
Of
that's
course.
that's stuntmen.
Well,
actors
stuntman too.
back in the day were paid to act. It didn't
What?
matter what you looked like. There was a bunch of ugly ass fucking old actors. Uh,
I don't know. I feel like actors do it all nowadays. Maybe nowadays,
uh,
maybe back. I don't know back in the day. Maybe you're right,
uh,
um, but you never notice when he says Luke took his weapon. Yoda was like, "Leave your weapons. You won't need them." He looks him in the
yeah.
eyes and takes them anyway. What a piece of shit. Why would he do that?
He's a dickhead.
But it never got explained. It never got like questioned. I was like, what are they trying to tell me? Why would Luke do that? Because he's supposed to be the good noodle, right?
Yeah.
Like Luke's always been a good noodle, and he was like, no, I promise him. Tell him, Obi-Wan. Tell
Well, I
him. I
mean,
can train. I'm good.
this one was this movie was trying to show that Luke had a kind of rebellious side to him. And
Hmm.
even like the lead up to the cave, or not the lead up to the cave, but even in the cave when he's fighting the Darth Vader um um phantom illusion, and then
Hmm.
like he cuts its head off, and then under the mask it's his face. Yeah, it could be he's your blood, right? He's you. Uh but it could also mean like, oh, he has a little bit of darkness to him as well. Um
I can see that.
uh yeah,
He also has an
so
image of like, traveling around with Han and shit, and like he's seen crazy shit so far, so he may be a little bit like rough around the edges, kind of in his idealisms right now.
yeah. He Skeeping is the name of Mark Hamill's stunt double for Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back
Boo!
and Return of the Jedi. In addition
Boo!
to his stunt work, he also played a Death Star trooper in Star Wars and a gunner for the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. My mic was turned off. Looks like it never happened.
uh, this one says he was a stunt double in all three. So fuck you, Google. Uh,
Hmm.
cool.
Also, did you know Vader killed another one of his dudes after that? He was like, "I'm sorry, sir, I've lost them," and he just fucking killed another. Holy shit! Because they were there. He's like, "I couldn't find them.
Oh, sorry.
I'll take full responsibility." He just fucking killed him right there. It was like, oh my god. Also, it was really fucking exciting when Boba was after them. That was really
Yeah.
cool. Because it was like, yeah, that all worked out great. They made it out. They escaped, and it was so cool. One thing, I wish we would get more of the other bounty hunters. Specifically, the tall-headed robot. And the only reason I say that is because I had Star Wars Empire for the N64,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to go to a mission in a junkyard as Han, and there's the
Mm-hmm.
tall robots in there, and you fucking fight him. It was really cool. But it was also after the shittiest part of the whole fucking game on the stupid train rail. You just have to like stay on this train rail forever. Oh my god, it was awful. But yeah, it was cool to see all those bounty hunters. I wish we would have gotten more of them We did eventually, like we do, I guess eventually, but um, I don't. I
Mm,
think they could have just had Boba there by himself, is what I'm thinking.
yeah.
They didn't
Well, he
need.
he wanted to expand the lore. He wanted to add those just for like, I guess Star Wars isn't a sci-fi quote unquote. It's more so a space fantasy.
Oh, 100% it's a
Um,
space
so
fantasy.
so it's more and fantasies always had so much world building and lore. So he had to be uh
That makes sense.
he had to add a bunch of bounty hunters just to show off some of his like creativity and stuff like that.
Right. It was cool though. And when he was
Huh.
after him, I genuinely was shocked. I was like, "Oh, no, he's gonna find you!" Like that shit was crazy. Also, speaking of, before we leave that scene, Vader's ship. Oh baby, that shit
Do
was.
we ever get his name? We
No,
do.
I don't
Okay.
think so. He
No,
got
I
his
was
name.
the droid bounty hunter. I was looking.
Oh, M83, I think it is something like that.
Really? Okay. Weird.
I know that. I don't think it was in the movie, of course, but we didn't get Boba's name in the movie either.
Did we not?
I don't think so. No.
Huh.
But
Weird.
I knew the one dude. I think it's some robot name, but I think it was like M855 or something. But
Okay.
I don't think we ever got Boba's name in that. I don't know where does his name come up then.
Boba?
Yeah,
And I don't think I think you're right. I don't remember them calling him by his name.
I
Maybe
feel like
Darth
I knew his
Vader?
name and I had the video game
Maybe
though,
maybe Darth Vader said his name
because he
once?
was he was named I think in the
Because like
game.
they don't go, this is Boba Fett. Like this is not like some retarded, Sunday morning cartoon. This is
Right.
like I think he might have said Boba in a conversation with Boba that was like understated. That was like not like focused on. So he might have said Boba, but I don't remember
Maybe
if
this
he
is one of
said
those
Boba.
things that like hopefully someone in the comments knows and they'll look up or somebody else would know. But
Yeah.
I wish I knew because yeah, it's fucking. I don't think he ever got named or any of the bounty hunters did. And then somehow he doesn't show up back in 3. Does he throw up in 3? He may show up in 3. Yeah, because he's in the platform scene
He
with
is in
Jabba.
3, but I don't remember if they dropped his name in 3 either.
We'll
Might
get
have to
there.
rewatch 5, but yeah, yeah.
Um, but moving on to the planet, when they fucking dude, when they get there and Lando just ignores 3PO, I'm done. I can't. That he was introducing himself and everything. Lando just ignored him to chase a piece of
Yeah.
ass. Some people have no respect. Also, into the next scene. Fuck, man. When they blew 3PO up, dude, I lost it. Because I actually couldn't remember that. Like, I don't remember that happening. So it completely fucking shocked me,
Yeah.
dude. Like, he
I don't
goes.
think we get his name to I'm sorry. I don't think we get his name to the prequels. I think whenever Jango Fett gets a name, Boba gets a name,
Ah, I see. Cool.
but I'm not 100% on that.
But, yeah, no, that shit fucked me up bad when they blew 3PO up. Because I thought he
Yeah.
died. Like, somehow I knew he couldn't die, but I thought he died for a fucking hot second. I was like, but all those from that point on, when they get to the fucking Cloud City, oh my god, the tension is building. Um,
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude! Like, it was just really well done, like super stressful from all the way fucking throughout, and it only gets more and more stressful as it goes on. But I also wonder what is the Well, I guess we do find out it's Leia eventually, but were they hinting at that when he said also when Palpatine's like, "No, there is another."
Yeah, what about it?
That was Leia, right?
Behind the scenes, no.
Who was that?
A future sister for Luke.
Oh, was it? It was supposed to be like another thing, like just for like building lore.
Yeah, behind the scenes, they weren't planning on a trilogy. I mean, again, the first movie was just a one-off, and if they were gonna get more, they were gonna get more. But because of that, they got greenlit for 2 movies. So they made Empire Strikes Back, but they hadn't made the script for Return of the Jedi yet. But George Lucas had made a bunch of draft scripts for episodes 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, and 6. Um, and well, not episode, but like um a third, fourth, and fifth movie and sixth movie. And there was an idea for Luke's gonna have a sister, or Luke's gonna fail in this movie, uh, and then he's gonna meet his sister in the third movie, and then she's gonna train in the Force, and Luke's gonna get with Leia. So there was a bunch of different drafts for the how long they were gonna take this Star Wars.
I see.
But then ultimately, I think George Lucas ended up wanting to make Return of the Jedi and ending it there. And the guy that he'd worked with to make the scripts on episode 1 and 2, or the first one and the second one, they had kind of creative differences. So the other guy left, and then George Lucas was like, "Well, I'm just gonna make this one, and then I'm gonna make I'm gonna make four. I'm gonna make the prequels." He already had the idea for the prequels.
Right.
At this point. And so he was like, "Oh, the next three are going to be prequels. So I'm going to give myself some time, and then I'm going to do the prequels in a couple of years." He didn't want to wait all the way to the 90s. No, he did, because Return of the Jedi came out in like the
83, I think.
83, something like that. He said he was going to do like a little gap, like 5 or 6 years, but I guess it ended up being a little bit longer than that. But
Right.
yeah, so in the 90s, he made episode 1, 2, and 3 as the prequels. And then he said he wanted to do a sequel trilogy after the prequels, where he was going to bring back the original actors and have Mark Hamill. Because I think I was watching an interview with Mark Hamill, and he was talking about this. Like, this was long before there was like Hollywood contracts and stuff like that. And George Lucas had told him that, oh, so he's like, mark your calendar in like 2010 or 11, you're gonna be playing an older Luke. And he was like, that was strange to me, because back then they didn't have that kind of
Right.
plans and stuff like that. So, but yeah, the backlash from the prequels, he didn't want that anymore. And like the people like talking shit to him about how he destroyed Star Wars and all that stuff, he just didn't want to do the sequels anymore.
Right. Makes sense.
That's why he was like so ready to just sell Star Wars to Disney, and they offered him a fuck ton of money.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So, but yeah, behind the scenes, that wasn't supposed to be Leia. That was supposed to be some other girl that they didn't have a name for yet. But
Because it wasn't. It's just suspenseful. It did build more like, whoa.
yeah,
So it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Leia was meant to be Luke's girlfriend for some reason, even though this movie was playing up the Han angle a lot.
Right.
So,
I think she fits better with Han anyway. Like,
right? Like, it's so weird.
they already felt like. I mean, that's why it turned out the way it did. I was like, they already felt like friends.
That's kind of what George Lucas was, I think, going. Like, he said, you know what? No, she fits with Han. Like, I think Han was supposed to die in this one.
I heard that. Yes, I heard that Han was supposed to not come back. In 3.
I only saw rumors. I couldn't find confirmation that Harrison Ford wasn't gonna come back for the third one or not. Like, it was up in the air. There was like rumors for it, but I couldn't find confirmation that it was up in the air.
Right.
So,
I do know he hates movies. It's funny. Like, he does not want to do any more Indiana Jones. He was like, "Fuck!" I remember hearing rumors, or not rumors, like some.
I mean, it might have been something that was like twisted, because I think I was watching like Johnny Depp talked about how he hated, quote unquote, hated the fucking Pirates of the Caribbean, and then when he was asked about it, he says, "No, I don't hate the Pirates of the Caribbean. I hate the writing team behind it doing stupid things that they've done in the most recent movies." I said, "I would love to do another one if there was better writing."
Makes sense. You could tell, dude. I didn't watch the movie, but I saw the first 5 minutes when he's running from the house, like they're chasing a bank.
Yeah, yeah.
He just looked awful.
Honestly, that's one of the worst parts of the movie too. Is the beginning. You want the beginning to be so good, but no, the beginning of that movie was terrible, and there was some good things in that newer Pirates movie.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch it. I'd like to watch all of them. Maybe we'll do that series.
Whew. I love that series. I'll talk about number 1 for 10 hours. I don't think you want to do that.
Well, good. Let's do that. Easy.
Oh
win.
God.
Easy dubs. But yeah, no. But speaking of back to this shit before we get lost, even when fucking back to my bromance love for 3PO and R2, that I'm not gonna get over. Even when they're fucking flying, Luke's flying to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
R2 had already scanned the whole planet and was looking for 3PO and couldn't find him and was sad about it and like kind of worried. Because funny. Luke's like, no, 3PO's there. He's with Han and Leia. Oh my God. I just can't. Like, you've never met better friends, dude, in my fucking life. I love it. But yeah, the carbon freeze, I can't handle the carbon freeze, dude. Oh my God. Chewie's freaking out. I'm freaking out, dude. Like, oh my God. The last half of that movie is just too much.
I told you that Hans I Know is improv by Harrison Ford.
Dang, that was such a good line.
Um, yeah, he's Han. He wouldn't say that. Come on, he's not gonna admit that when he's about to die.
No, and if anything, he would know because you know he cared about her, but he can't tell her that because then she would be sad if he's gone.
Yeah,
So he has to make himself seem like a piece of shit so she won't miss him.
I know.
And that's what made him even better. I was like, dude, you're just saying that to help her feelings, not your own.
Yeah, so
Oh
good.
my god, dude.
And he told fucking Chewbacca to take care of her.
I can't, dude. Holy shit. Like, that's what I'm saying. The fucking carbon, the whole fucking last 20 minutes are just too much. I need like a fucking break almost. Can we pause this? Oh
You didn't
my.
know this was gonna go dark, did ya?
That shit did. Ever since 3PO died, that movie went off the rails.
Oh yeah, Chewbacca had to try to put it back together.
Oh my god. He put him on. He said, "You put me on backwards, you big oaf." Or something. Oh my god, I love it. That shit was. He's like seeing. He was like he couldn't see what was going on because he was on his back. He said, "Turn around." Like,
Oh man.
oh, I love it, dude. 3PO is so. It's just. I'm still gonna stand by this. It's just Chris.
It's so hard for me to critique this movie. I love this movie so much.
I can't. Dude, when they're fucking. Dude, also Vader's such a fucking piece of shit. To compile it even more.
Yeah.
Like every time, because it makes it feel so like, because you know they're all pissed at fucking. They're all pissed at Lando.
Yeah.
And then you just, because when you get to see Lando's interactions, he was like, hey, what do you mean? They were supposed to stay with me, or they were supposed to go free, or, you know, at first it was like, this is already fucked up, you're doing too much, what happened?
Right, don't alter the deal further.
Yeah, he was like, I've altered the deal, and he was like, okay, it's okay, I can't save Han, but I can still save those two. And then it was like, nope, they're coming with me, what the fuck? And you just see his plans unravel to the point where he betrays him by the end.
Yeah.
And I just loved that too for his character, because I don't know. He was so charming and handsome in the beginning. I was rooting for him immediately. And then when he turned out to be a bad guy or betrayed them, I don't know. I still believed him in the first scene. He was like, I'm sorry. They got here just before you did. I had no choice. I believed him there, so I was never like against him. But then by the end, you do get so much of like a mini character arc. It felt like a full character arc, to be honest. But he was just so well written in that short amount of time.
Yep.
That like, holy, how can you do that? How can Lando have his own movie in 20 minutes and fucking have a perfect character arc? And people have entire 2-hour movies and can't do a character right. I don't know.
God, man. I can't wait till we get there. Whew.
But he was fucking awesome. When they were running with 3PO, he was like, because I don't think 3PO knew what happened with Lando at this point.
Yeah, no.
So he was like,
shut off.
he was like, okay, he said, we have to do this. Just trust me. And like people are shooting them. He's like, trust him, trust him.
He doesn't know.
Oh.
He's a droid. Dude, he's supposed to be human relation. Like he's supposed to be a fucking communicator or whatever. But
that
he's
shit
just
was funny. He
he's
just
always,
didn't
like,
want
in
to
the dark,
die.
just doing things, and it's so funny.
Oh my god. Dude, and then 3PO again. I swear to God, the next fucking, they're trying to leave. 3PO's he tells R2, hurry, connect to here, and you can hack into their system or some shit. Fucking R2 plugs in, gets fried, and almost dies. They pull him out of the socket. Well, I mean, I'm an interpreter. How am I supposed to know the difference between a socket and a fucking thing? He does a complete option select. I'm just an interpreter. How am I supposed to know that was a power socket and not a fucking communications array? I don't... Oh my god. And it just helps reinforce why I think R2 talks so much shit to him since the first movie. Because this can't be the first time that he's done something and like got R2 into trouble. Oh man. That shit was great. But again, like the fact that the first thing fucking R2 did was scan the planet for 3PO before he did anything else. And and then like 3PO trying to save him before, like, oh my god. Just those two are the best, dude. I swear to God. When they're fucking running though, after fucking R2 does break down that door or open it, I swear to God, I thought R2 wasn't gonna make it. I legit was like leaned forward in my seat, like R2, please fucking move, because his little wheels were going so slow. Like everybody already made it to the ship.
Does he have wheels?
Yeah, he has wheels under his little triple triad things.
I don't think I ever noticed. Oh,
Um,
okay. Oh, he does. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. No, I'm stupid. That's the dumbest shit
but what about Luke's lightsaber?
about it. That it fell down.
Yeah,
Yeah, he lost it.
how does he get another one in the next movie?
He builds a new one.
He builds it.
Yeah, he makes a new one.
Spoilers.
I mean, you've seen the movie.
I can't remember.
Yeah, Vader grabs it from him, or he hands it to him whenever he's trying to convince him to join the light side when they're going up the elevator or whatever. He says, "I see you've crafted your own lightsaber. That is the sign of a Jedi Master." Or something like that. So
Some kind of symbolic for him growing.
yeah,
I see.
he makes one that looks like kind of like Obi-Wan's. Um,
Ah,
at least I think it looks like Obi-Wan's. I could be wrong. Obi-Wan. Anakin made the exact same lightsaber he had in Episode 3.
makes
Which
sense.
is really funny.
He's a
Yeah, I would
simple
say
man.
he crafted the exact same lightsaber he had in Episode 3, which is the one that Luke has in Episode 1 or Episode 4 and 5.
Checks out.
Um, uh, ah, Obi-Wan lightsaber. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Luke lightsaber. Yeah, they find what was it in the sequel trilogies? They have that other lightsaber, right? They have so somebody finds it because they have that lightsaber.
Yeah, because isn't the one in the box that Ray finds?
Yeah. So did they ever tell us where they found or how they found the fucking original lightsaber?
I don't know. Googly eyes lady had it. She's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I like her a lot.
Yeah, it looks a lot like yeah, his new lightsaber in Return of the Jedi looks just like not just like, but it looks similar enough to Obi-Wan's lightsaber.
Right. I will say I don't have any notes on the entire fight with Vader and Luke because it was so gripping.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to pause. I was like, I'm fucking watching this. This is awesome.
Fucking Darth Vader threw his lightsaber. That's the first iteration of somebody boomeranging a lightsaber. That was cool.
Yeah, no, that shit was cool. Um,
Luke force jumps in that movie, so like the force jumping isn't crazy to see in the future movies.
right, right.
Um,
Because yeah, he just went straight out of the fucking little cockpit or the freezing chamber.
yeah,
He had to have been 20 feet. A fucking zoom. Yeah, no, that shit was good, man. The whole fight, everything, I thought was pretty good.
it was
I will
very
say,
well
dude, when
choreographed.
Luke is fucking like, man, when he's like crawling back on like the final little platform, he like crawls under the rail and crawls even farther. Like there's nowhere left to go, but he's still trying to crawl away.
Sorry. Oh
Bless you.
fuck. Oh
That shit was good. I will say he did to me. He did a little bit too much after the reveal of the father.
yeah,
He did a little bit too dramatic with those screams. A little bit. The
yeah.
facial movements were a little bit
I always
contorted.
thought this game was a little off, but it's fun.
Right, but it did feel pretty good though. Overall, like the overall scene, because I mean that's everything he hates in the galaxy, right? Like that's the bad guy. You're supposed to stop him.
Yeah.
Also, what is it with fuck? I can't get over this. What is it with all Jedi and all Sith and chopping hands?
It's just a Star Wars thing.
They're just addicted, man. Like
It's just a
every
Star Wars thing.
single lightsaber
Every
fight that's ever
every
happened has
pre Disney acquisition of Lucas Arts or Lucasfilms.
Mhm.
All the prequel and the sequel trilogy or prequel and the original trilogy, they have at least one person getting their arm cut off in each movie. It's just a tradition.
They just love it, dude. It's like I just noticed it and I was like, this is fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like always you lose an arm.
St was it Marvel? I think it was Marvel. They they started doing the hand cut off thing around the time they got bought by Disney as well to reference Star Wars.
Oh, that's kind of funny. Who lost their
So,
hands?
I can't remember, but I remember they did it. So it's after the first Avengers.
Hmm.
They cut off an arm. They cut Thor's arm off in the Dark World. They cut somebody's. They cut off one of the random goons' arm off in the Iron Man 3. Remember they had the extremists and they just grew it right back.
Okay.
Um, the Winter Soldier, Bucky technically got his arm cut off.
I guess yeah,
Um,
technically yeah.
yeah.
But it's
So
just
like,
canonical. But I'll give you
yeah.
that.
So yeah, like it was yeah, they kind of reference all that stuff.
When did
Just
Thor
it
get
was
his
just
arm back? I forgot he lost an arm.
he didn't actually get it cut off. It was an illusion Thor.
Oh,
It was like Loki do it, making an illusion and making the bad guys think his arm cut off, and the audience thinking the arm got cut off. Like, oh no, Loki double crossed Thor. That sucks. And then he actually double crossed the bad guys in the movie. Um,
I see. I still love their best maneuver. Help! Help! Just fucking
get help.
throws
We're
him.
not doing get help.
We're not doing get help. That's the best maneuver.
um,
Oh my god, that shit was so good. But yeah, to wrap this shit up, the fucking last fight was amazing. Um,
yeah,
and then they introduced all the force talk. I will say, what their force talk felt better than Ray's and Kylo's or anything in the sequel trilogy. That all felt like shit. Is how I remember it.
yeah.
But I don't know why it felt okay with Leia and Luke and Obi-Wan and Yoda and everyone.
It was vague, right? It wasn't
Maybe
like
that's what it
super like
was. It was like this hint.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, not vague. What am I thinking of? Wrong word. But it was just like it wasn't just a scene of them just talking into the ether. They just like she kind of heard him. Like it was very like um very I don't want to say Christian-esque of like the Holy Spirit and stuff like that, but
right. It was
kind of.
ethereal
Yeah.
almost. It was
Yeah, yeah.
it
It was
wasn't in your
mystical.
face. That's the
It
best way
was
I could say it.
mystical, whereas the other one seemed like it was more of like a hollow call, like a hologram call with the
Right.
fucking force. Like it was just like randomly, hey, I can connect you through the force. Oh yeah, and it looks like they're looking at each other, whereas Leia is like looking around like she doesn't know where the voice is coming from, right?
Right. And
It
yeah,
seems like
it does feel the randomness of it makes sense too in the second one
yeah,
or in the sequel trilogy because the in these ones it was very predictable. It was like, hey, you know, like this is important. Shit's going down. This connection is very purposeful right now. Whereas I think sometimes in the sequel trilogies it was like you have a collect call from this guy, and then
yeah.
it was
I
like
would
just
say it seems
exposition.
very like they're just calling them like it's no big deal. Whereas like this one, it seems more like Luke is desperate and he's trying to connect to her through the force really, really like desperately. Like it probably wasn't even him talking; it was just his thoughts being projected into the ether rather
Yes,
than a call,
that's what.
right?
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely it had more mystery and mystique, but overall it was still good. Or not it was still good. That's the wrong one.
yeah.
Uh, it was fucking great. This whole movie was great. The last thing I had in my notes too was the look on all of the bad guys' faces when they got away. Like,
Hmm.
oh shit, who's getting killed next?
Are you gonna tell Vader? I'm not telling Vader.
Yeah, I'm not. No, fuck that. You
I feel like someone made that joke somewhere in fucking Family Guy or Robot
Oh my
Chicken or
god,
somewhere.
that shit was funny.
Oh man.
But overall, yeah, this movie's fucking phenomenal. There's a couple things, maybe like some stuff about like I can go into more about Han or not Han, more about Lando and like his people and his entire. That's because he had an entire people. He had a whole back. God, he was just good. They just give you
Yeah.
so much, and it's so short. They give you so much in a short amount of time, but it's
Oh right. I for the longest time I thought Cloud City was actually like that was the name of the planet. Not gonna lie.
dude, I did too.
Um,
What do you mean? It's not.
they mentioned it in this movie, the actual name of the planet.
Oh, yeah, I
Uh,
thought like Cloud City was like just that was all that was inhabitable on the planet. The rest was gas.
yeah, it's the planet's name is Bespin, but it was
Ah,
like I was like, oh, I was like the fuck? Oh, I thought it was fucking Cloud City was the name of the planet. Cloud City is the fucking city above the fucking clouds.
interesting. I remember Bespin in Star Wars Battlefront, so I guess that checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bespin was the fucking planet that had the cryo freeze chamber. I think the bad guys spawned in there.
Yeah.
You never went down there in normal circumstance, number of fights. But anyway, um, yeah, no, this movie's fucking phenomenal. It's probably I don't want to say it. It's not my personal favorite out of all of them because I still really like 2 and 3,
Yeah.
but it might be objectively the best one so far.
Uh, Rogue One is my personal favorite, but I would definitely rank it below this.
Right. I think you
So
have to. I mean, fuck. It's almost the perfect movie. Like shit.
there's almost nothing wrong with it. Like
Right.
it's just
Like I definitely give it a fucking 10. I would say.
whew. Uh,
Just because
uh,
there's nothing you can't take away from it. I mean,
I'll give it a 9.5, and that's
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 insane.
higher. That's Dark Knight. All
I was about to
right,
say
that's
there's
Dark Knight level. There's almost nothing there. There's
right,
Dark Knight in this in my recent memory. I guarantee there's probably like two or three that I've rated. Probably seven. I've rated seven up here. I love
right.
Seven. That's a good ass movie. But there's very few movies I put all the way up here. So, um,
Yeah, no, it's insane, man. The only thing
Infinity
I
War is up here. No, Infinity War is a fucking 9 in my book. So yeah, Infinity War is not even up here. Um,
right.
and that was my favorite Marvel movie. Um,
That shit's
no,
good.
Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie. Infinity War is up there too. So Winter Soldier is great. Also, that's my favorite character. So
That makes sense.
we need my edge lords, you know.
Just a little bias.
What are you talking about bias? No, he's just objectively the best character.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Weird why I didn't see that. My objectivity meter must be broken. Let me recalibrate. Wow, I love Ukiura and Sasuke all of a sudden.
Wait, I thought you did like Ulquiorra.
Actually, I did.
What?
Stop.
See, he's cool.
He really is, though. He's one of the coolest characters, like, period, when he shows up. But he's definitely a little too edgy for me as I got
The
older.
beautiful black hair. I mean,
But I got closing thoughts. My mom just called me actually, so I got to get to her and see where she's
okay.
going.
Uh,
The movie's
beautiful
fucking
movie.
phenomenal.
You
Go
can
watch
start
it.
with this movie. It's beautiful.
No, you have to at least start with four. Um,
Uh,
I also think though too, and back to what I was thinking before, that if you do
yeah.
start with number one and go your way through,
Mhm.
it almost also feels better because you get all of like the first three, which are still good, but building a bigger story. Then you get four, five, and six, which are phenomenal. So then
Mhm.
you have like even the better movies, save the best for last kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
I still stand by it, but I didn't think about that until just this moment. But maybe it's like because I think if you watch all the good ones first, and then like maybe you're less impressed by the previous. But I don't know. Because Jameson was blown away. He was like, "No, I love that." Because like his whole shtick is like, "Wow, I heard about these things, then I get to go back and watch them." That means a lot more to him than it did to me. Because I was thinking, well,
Yeah.
I like watching it and then hearing them talk about it. It gives
There's
depth to what they're
advantages
talking
to either one. Like, yeah, if you watch one, two, three, you lose the twist in five. But is the twist that substantial that missing? I don't know.
like, because I
Losing
love
okay, because like watching 4, 5, 6, there's no. I mean, there's tension. It's there. It's built into the movie, but you know that Anakin's gonna go bad. So knowing he's gonna go bad kind of loses some of it. Some of the oh
right,
no, Anakin went bad because you already know he went bad if you watch 4, 5, and 6. So it's
right.
really hard to say which one is worse, which way is worse to watch.
Right, because I think
Um,
that the losing the father bit, but then gaining all of Anakin's story
yeah.
means a lot to me. Also, you get so much more depth and like freshness to all of the scenes in 4, 5, and 6 when you know what
Mhm.
they're talking about.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
because it
me and
the added
Lando, we
context.
go
Yeah.
way back. And then when you find out what the fuck that actually means, it's like they do not go way back.
Yeah.
And that makes it so much better. You know what I mean? I think that makes the scene so much more
Mhm.
interesting and deep. Like when 3PO, I mentioned it earlier, talks to the computer and mentions it has a weird dialect. That's a one-off throwaway line that doesn't mean shit to anybody who watches 4, 5, and 6
It's
first.
funny. It's a random. That's a one-liner, honestly. If you never
That's
watched
kind of a
the,
one-liner, yeah.
yeah, if you've never watched Solo, I mean, not really a one-liner per se, but it's just like it's kind of a like I don't
It's
know how
dull.
to
It wouldn't be
categorize that
funny,
joke.
I
It's like
think.
making fun of its dialect, right? It's just,
Right, that wouldn't be
uh,
funny to me. I didn't even remember that line until like now
yeah,
I know where it comes from. Well, I guess
yeah,
not where it comes from technically. It's a rewrite or it's a write-in or whatever the
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
you would call.
yeah. Yeah.
But those mean so much more. When he talks about, yeah, I fought with your dad in the Clone Wars. I didn't remember that shit. I I didn't care about that as a kid. I was like, okay, cool. Who cares? Let's move on
It's
with the
just
story.
history. It's again, it's fantasy. It's just lore built into the background to fluff it up,
Right.
right?
But when I know about it and I've seen
Yeah,
it, it's like,
you've
holy,
seen
I
the
know what
Clone
he's
Wars.
talking about.
Um,
Um,
have you seen some of the comic renditions, like comic book renditions of like the Clone Wars before we got the prequels? Because there was so many different like authors trying to. Because they asked George Lucas about it, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. Just do whatever you want to do for the comic." And so there's a bunch of comic books of the Clone Wars that are just fucking crazy shit. There's like, oh, every Jedi has to fight against a clone of themselves, or there's like, uh, what was it? I can't remember what one of them that was really cool. I don't remember, but yeah, the people's minds were just like, what the fuck is that? What is the
right.
Clone Wars? I
Right.
want to know.
So yeah, for me, it's like it was just history. I guess, and this is also again, it's why it's personal preference.
Yeah,
History to me is throwaway in the movie I'm watching
yeah, because you
because
don't know
there's
any of
there's
this
no
stuff.
guarantee it's gonna pay off.
Yeah.
I might pay attention enough to know that it's meaningful, but it's
Well,
not
yeah,
gonna be impactful.
that line just says that. Oh, you and my, or your dad and me go way back. It's like
Yeah.
watching a movie about a character who meets somebody that knew their father and they fought in Vietnam together.
Right.
Because the Vietnam War doesn't have anything to do with the movie at present or at all,
Right.
maybe, but it just shows that this person was close to your father at some
Yeah.
point.
And that's
Um,
that's why how I read them when or not read them. I
yeah,
guess that's how I watch the scene.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, cool, they're close, and I throw the fucking line away. So
yeah.
it's so much better for me as a watcher if I can have the history first and then watch it play out in the new dialogue. Then I don't throw the line away. I'm like, oh, that's super
The way
impactful.
Star Wars is now is really cool. I mean, like, shit, you can watch the Mandalorian. Mandalorian takes place after Episode 6. Um, but there's aspects of the prequels in there. I don't really want to spoil any of it, but there's like characters who are traumatized by droids.
Right.
There's because of the fucking droid war or the war, the Clone Wars with the droids and the clones. And then there's ex stormtroopers in it that again, one of my favorite scenes. It's only one fucking episode, and it's one of the best fucking to me. It might just be because I wanted it so bad for fucking Finn that I finally got it, and it was decent enough that it just blew me away.
Right.
But it was an ex stormtrooper like redemption arc. That's really cool. Um,
Right.
so like it just
Yeah, I
plays with
really
some of
actually I really liked Rex and the fucking boys.
yeah.
Um, that was a really good story. But we'll get there.
Ugh.
So my mom
We'll
called
figure
me
out how we do Clone
again.
Wars after we get to the sequel trilogies.
Right, I'm
Uh,
thinking that. Were the Clone Wars or Mandalorian probably after sequel trilogy? So that sounds about right.
um,
I think
the two most
Mandalorian's an
famous
easier
ones.
watch.
Mandalorian will be easier to watch,
Right.
but Clone Wars is harder for me to decide how to if we're gonna do season one. So I think there's 20 episodes a season. I could be wrong.
Right,
It might be
20 is a
only
lot.
12.
I
I
mean,
don't
that's
remember
that's what's
exactly.
hard to do a whole season.
I don't think that's correct. I don't think 20 is how many it had. I think season one might have had 10 episodes, and then season two might have had 12 or 15, something like that.
Right.
Um,
We'll see, and we'll figure it out. So,
I'm on my computer. I can literally just look at it, and I'm stupid. Um,
um,
but I'll
uh,
figure it out. We can talk about it. But anyways,
right. Anyway, fucking
no thoughts anymore, or any more thoughts on
nah.
episode 5? And the Empire is the greatest.
Yeah, thinking it's after. You think you have to admit that? I don't know.
Uh,
It's not my
Anakin
favorite.
the way that Anakin got his arm, he got a or not Anakin, Luke got a android arm. Um, uh, but then they just it's so advanced it looks like a normal hand.
I thought that was
So that
funny. Right?
they
Anakin
don't
has a
have to.
shitty robot arm. He gets the nice
Yeah,
one.
yeah. It's the future, right? They have better
It
tech.
it is the future. You're right. It's continuity. Look at that.
He had the he said when he did the prequels he said his arm has to look worse than Luke's because it is the past. Even though I make all these spaceships look better,
Shh! Don't tell him.
and all the buildings look better. At least the android arm has to look worse.
I can dig it. Hey, the pod racers were shitty. I mean,
That is true, but they're in the outer rim.
that's
And,
true. Yeah.
yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
But love you, dudes. I gotta get the fuck out of here. My mom's called me twice.
All right.
She
Peace.
said she's chit chatting with my aunts and talking shit about me in high school. So I gotta. She wants to catch up with me. She's probably been drinking.
All right, man.
uh,
I'll be on PlayStation. I don't know. You'll probably be going to bed whenever you get off the phone with your mom.
We didn't tell the fans bye.
Oh, my bad. Bye, dudes.
Bye, dude. Ladies too. Dude is I say dude is unisex.
Your dude's universal.
I thought dude is universal. I was gonna mention that, but some people don't think it's universal. So if you're a chick and you
it doesn't matter. Some girls think dudette is sexist.
that
some
sounds
girls...
stupid, dudette.
I know. It's just dumb. Some girls think dudette is sexist. So I'm gonna say dudes and dudette if you prefer.
You're a dudes. You're all dudes. Have a good night. Love you guys.
Depends on the generation, I think. I don't know.